Hello, Clutter Warrior. Today, I want to talk about our mindset, your mindset, one's mindset, and protecting it. And as the title to today's episode refers, protecting it from garbage. And I'm being somewhat facetious, a little bit sarcastic, but also very real about it as well. Uh, I listen to the news. I listen to music a lot, but I also listen to the news particularly when I'm in the shower. I don't know if you do the same thing. Uh, I listen to it in the car as well. And the news, it doesn't matter which source of news you're getting, whether it's CNN or NPR or the New York Times or Fox News or the source, it feels like the news pretty consistently is about most of the stuff that is messed up and broken in the world. I think it's important to know about those things. So I'm not suggesting that we become uninformed. And at the same time, what I notice is if I listen to too much of the news, it really starts to sap my energy. And so I was in the shower today, listening to the news, listening to a string of articles about things that are horrible, like this is a rather topical reference, which of course some people would say I'm not supposed to do in a podcast because it messes up the evergreenedness of the episode. First of all, sadly, I don't think that by revealing this piece of information, it's in some ways completely time sensitive, and in other ways, as I said, sadly, because of human nature, it's likely to be quite topical whenever you listen to this. So the story was about the women's soccer league and all of the sexual harassment and assault that's going on. And this stuff is incensing. First of all, without going down a rabbit hole, right? Like, why do we keep having, I mean, not why is it continually revealed to us that men can't keep their hands off of women? Not that there aren't women that can't keep their hands off men, but in this case, right? Like, it's like, why do we keep having these stories? Not that I don't want to know about them. Why is it that men can't keep their hands off of women? The women don't belong to you. Keep your hands to yourself. Like, why is that something that somebody ever needs to say to anybody? Keep your fucking hands to yourself. Really? Okay, so with that in mind, it's upsetting to listen to, and certainly upsetting to me. And I would like to think that it would be upsetting to you as well, that you would not want unwanted attention being paid to people who didn't want the attention. That aside, it's very upsetting, and it tends to bring me down energetically. I'm not filled with buoyancy. I'm enraged at how disgusting some people can be in the world. And it's easy to extrapolate on that and think the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Everything is fucked up and broken, and we are beyond any sense of redemption or help, or happiness is never going to be found again. It's not hard to slide down that rabbit hole and get completely lost. Once I arrive there, doing the dishes, making your bed suddenly seems very inconsequential, right? There's a war at any given time in the world. There's a war someplace. People are losing their lives. People are hungry. People are homeless. People have mental illness that is untreated, and they're wandering around the streets without shoes on their feet. It's hard to hold your center when confronted with these kinds of things in the world. And so when I reference the idea of protecting our mindset in the face of this kind of garbage information that's coming in, it's not that the information isn't important. It's not even that the information isn't critical to our collective well-being. And at the same time, if you most specifically you, listener, if you are struggling to put your keys back in their home, if you're struggling to make the bed in the morning, if you're struggling to load the dishwasher, empty the dishwasher, do the dishes by hand, if you're struggling to keep track of your mail and open it, if you're struggling to put your suitcase back where it belongs, or hang your bag up when you're finished with it, or keep track of your mobile phone, it wouldn't be surprising that it is that much harder to do that when your energy is down and you feel beaten up by the condition of the general world, let alone your own personal environment at home. It's why we have to be protective of our energy and our space. We don't want to turn a blind eye to the ills and the tragedies that are happening in the world at all. That is not what I am saying or suggesting in any way. And how do we find that balance for each of us? Because on a good day, that stuff more likely slides off my back like a duck, a duck's back and water, that whatever that metaphor is, right? It's easier when I'm enthusiastic about the world and I'm feeling relatively happy to recognize that there are things in the world that need my attention, that need my financial support, my emotional support, my spiritual support, and I'm still going to take care of myself. There are other times when I am more vulnerable, where when those things happen, it's easier to get knocked off my game and I just feel, what's the point? Right? Like, what is the point anymore? There's so much bad behavior in the world that my taking care of myself isn't enough to right the world. So I want to be supportive in helping you take care of yourself a day at a time, a moment at a time, to not create more clutter or mess for yourself. So I'm sharing this with you in the hopes that now that we're bringing some attention to it, you will find the ways that are specific to you to protect your mindset so that you are less vulnerable to the garbage that's happening in the world. We want to be responsive. I'll speak for myself. I want to be a responsive citizen in the world. I don't want to turn my back on my neighbors. I certainly don't want to think my neighbors who are suffering are a burden or a problem for me. And at the same time, I need to take care of myself. It does come back to that idea of physician heal thyself, or put your oxygen mask on first, right? If I'm depleted and beaten up, I'm more likely, when something is going wrong in the world, I'm more likely to just be crabby and cranky about it, not available and enthusiastic. So we have to figure out for each of ourselves how we protect our own mindset, hold on to our center, our core values, be available to address things in the outside world without letting go of what we need to take care of on the inside world. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And it might have been rather circuitous or roundabout. You'll indulge me, hopefully. But that's where I'm trying to travel, is we are almost constantly bombarded with mostly negative information. It is not surprising that we find ourselves often sitting in a pile without much momentum, lamenting the condition of the world, the state of the world, and in that place, not so motivated to take good care of ourselves, and not only to stay present in the moment, but also to possibly address historic accumulation, to address clutter that we've accumulated over a period of time. So I get it. And getting it doesn't mean that we don't then have work to do to make sure that while we get it, we are also taking care of ourselves. So I want to end this on an up note, in the sense that forewarned is forearmed. Now that we are thinking about it, now that it is a topic for us to explore and discuss, what can we do? What can you do? What can I do to take care of ourselves so that we can not put our head in the sand like an ostrich, but also then not take care of ourselves? I don't have a great answer. Like, I don't have a universal answer that applies to all of us. I know for myself, what I'll share with you is meditation, talking to another person, yelling and screaming, singing real loud, eating if I'm hungry, possibly taking a nap, helping another person in a very micro local way, right? If I take the focus off of myself and particularly my feelings, I typically tend to feel better. And it's always easier for me to solve somebody else's problems than solve my own. So those are some of the things that I do to reset myself. Why don't you take 5 minutes, set a timer, and make a list of the things that you can do to reset yourself. And then once you've thought about them, they'll now become tools that are available in your toolbox. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to being with you again real soon.